Günaydın. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm very proud to participate in a project that will help to keep Turkey beautiful. So I work for Brussels. It's a region and a city at the same time. We're 100% urban. We have very few industries, mostly service-orientated, and almost no agriculture. So I work for the regional administration in charge of the environment in a department that is planning waste management. So I will show you a snapshot of today's situation in Brussels. Then I will go into details of each of the parts, and I will end talking about the problems we have and the mistakes we made, and that I would recommend you not to make. So today in Brussels, we work on, let's say, 3 different aspects. First, prevention, which is very important. Avoid food waste. Avoid to produce any waste, and you don't have to treat it. So we have a good food strategy that I will go into details later. And trainings. We train fridge masters, only 7 people so far. It was a pilot first. We train them to understand how to preserve their food, how to buy only the food you need, and don't waste anything. Garden masters, it's a bit a longer one. We've trained 130 people, and we train them to produce their own food, and a lot of it is also about using compost and producing compost. And then the compost masters, we have formed 400 people. More than half of them are still very active in Brussels, and they help everybody else to compost. We will go back to that. Then management. We have decentralized compost, meaning that we are just teaching people to do it themselves, and we don't do it. The region doesn't do it. So we are not collecting it, and we're not managing it. So because of these aspects, this could go to prevention as well if you wanted to, because the municipality is not doing it. And we've calculated that so it's an estimation, that 16.5 tons per year of organic waste are treated this way. This figure comes from a survey. We've interrogated 1,000 people in Brussels, and 20% of them say they are composting their food waste and garden waste. And we have estimated too that each people compost 60 kilos per year in Brussels. Somebody said 20 in Turkey here, but well, we've calculated 60 kilos. We have 148 sites of community composting in Brussels, and then we also help people to compost at home, either with a garden or even in a flat. For example, I have a worm farm in my flat. It's very small and very efficient. There is something I wanted to say here. Well, I'll come back later. So, Brussels is 1.1 million inhabitants. I should have said that from the beginning. And then we have centralized door-to-door collection. This works very well for garden waste. We're collecting 30,000 tons of garden waste every year all over Brussels. It's door-to-door and all year round. And then a new project is about kitchen waste, but we don't have figures yet. But we're collecting door-to-door as well, organic waste, kitchen waste every week. Then most of our organic waste is not managed. We're collecting it mixed with the residual waste, also door-to-door, at a very high cost then. And we've calculated that 50% of this residual waste is also organic waste. It's about the same figures than in Turkey. So this is energy recovered, but as 80% of it is water. Have you ever tried to burn water? Usually we use water to stop a fire, so it's not really recovering anything. It's just even requiring more energy than if it wasn't there. So that is 160,000 tons a year of organic waste that are burned. I'm sure you're interested in the costs. So we considered that collecting door-to-door of mixed residual waste cost us 100 euros per ton And then burning it is another 100 euro per ton. So if we manage to prevent, I don't know if I have a light here. Yeah, if we manage to prevent this amount of waste, that's about 3 million euros saved every year. Whereas this costs 30 million euros every year. So do more of that and less of that, and you won. So we still have a lot to do. Huh? As you see, we're not the best practice in Brussels. There's still a lot of work to do. That's why we have these projects. One is the Circular Economy Program that I will go into details, and another one is phosphor. Again, I will come back to them. So prevention, we have the Good Food Strategy. It's new, it's 1 year old now. Excuse me, just a second. So here we really want to make citizens realize they have to respect their food. When you respect your food, you will stop wasting it, and you will start do some efforts to avoid this wasting. So we want to help them reduce the food waste at source, but then also to treat the food waste they still make. So our target is to reduce of 30% food waste by 2020. So this will be another few millions of euros saved. We work with households with developing practical information tools and trainings, as I mentioned earlier. New specific trainings will also be made, like learn to cook your leftovers and things like that. We work a lot with canteens, school and professionals to reinforce food waste fighting. And we develop educational tools directly for the children too. Also retailers. Retailers have a direct incentive to reduce their food waste. It costs something for them and they want to reduce it. And we help them find partners to do it, also to valorize unsold food. Then for the food waste that is produced, we also help households to treat it. I'll come back to that again. In restaurants, we want to help people go back with a doggy bag. This is not something that is natural. People are afraid to ask to bring their food back. Restaurants don't want to bother their customer with that. So we've changed the name. Restopack sounds better than doggy bag, so we hope this helps, but it does apparently. Some things are very easy. Just change the words. Don't say it's waste, say it's resources. Don't say it's a doggy bag, it's a Restopack now. Retailers too, we want them to transform their unsold food, and why not try to sell it again once it's been transformed. We have our strategy is available in English. The link is there. I guess you will get the presentation at some point. Here I had a movie to show you, but we're running out of time, so I'll be a bit faster. We've worked with restaurants to help them reduce their food waste. So we analyzed their waste for a few months. What are they producing? Where is the organic waste produced? Is it from the stocks, from the kitchens, or is it from the tables? And we worked out with them new recipes, how to use one vegetables in different menus, not only in one, and then, oh, if no one orders this soup today, I have to throw my vegetables. No, if no one orders the soup, maybe someone will have the puree or something else with the same vegetable. Also, how to calibrate the size of the plates. Sometimes you have huge plates, and of course you don't finish them. If you don't have enough, you just ask for more, and you can get it usually for free here. Like for fries, most of the time you can have more fries, even if they don't bring it on the table directly, so you don't waste so much. Also, you will be able to see this movie on your own. We have a partner for decentralized composting. He's called Worms, and so it's a public procurement, and their missions is to raise awareness, well, with us, with citizens and also companies, They have a hotline and they help you on site. So if you want to compost in a restaurant or in your garden or as a community, you can call them and they will come and help you and teach you everything you need to know. And they will come back again and again to check if you do it right and help you get it working perfectly. Free for them, the region pays for that. Also, animation of the Compost Masters network. As I told you, we have 400 people that were formed, trained to teach others to compost. And if you just do that, then it may stop at some point. But if you do some animation of the network, then you have a real community and it will keep working. This is a scheme of the worm farm I was telling you. It's about this big, so, or even smaller, sorry. It's very small, so you can have it in your kitchen. It doesn't smell, the worms stay in there, and at the end you have a compost that you can use directly. Yeah, and so training, they are giving the trainings, not us. Composting in a garden, in a flat, community compost, teaching schools to compost, composting for professionals too, and a longer master composting training that makes you a trainer at your turn. This is a map of the city. And you see all the little worms are community composting. There is 148. So they're all over the city, and they're very small. It's not a big factory. It's a few square meters. I will show you pictures later. So every year we do a call for project to help communities to create their own composting sites, and we only give them €1,000 per site. This helps them to buy all the boxes, the tools. Here it's on the pictures later you will see different type of composting place. And then there is the hotline to help them and the visits if they need, and trainings again. So this is the one just close to where I live. It's in a very little unused place where trees grew up, but it's very small. As you see, it's maybe 5 meters and another 5 here, so 25 square meters, nothing. And they compost a lot there, and every year I can get my own compost here. So this is the curve. This curve shows the evolution of composting sites in Brussels. So it went very fast from the points where we started training them and giving the €1,000 to get started. A few pictures of composting sites. These are the most used in Brussels. It's recycled plastics, and they're really easy to handle and to keep clean and everything. Some are made out of wood. This one is really not in a rural area, as you can see. And well, this one is one. It's also the plastic ones here. This one is, as most of them actually, they're linked to another project here. It's a garden, sometimes it's a chicken house, sometimes it's there are other projects, but I can't think of them right now. Yeah. And then for home composting, when you want to do it on your own because you have a garden or a free square meter in your kitchen, then again we help you. We made guidebooks. There is the help desk again, and training. So I repeat myself, but that's the way it works. Then, new from 2 years ago, we have the kitchen waste collection pilot. So it's a voluntary pilot. So only a few people participated, but they are the people who really wanted to do it. So they do it properly, and we have I hope, because I haven't seen the results yet, but I believe they have good results because of that. So it was a door-to-door collection scheme, and this waste goes to anaerobic digestion. So not in composting, but it's a similar activity. Also, we have a website in English if you want to know more. Garden waste has been collected for many years already in Brussels, and it's composted in 2 different centralized composting plants in Brussels, but they're really easy plant. It's an open air thing, and it's a big pile of waste. Actually, it's not a good one. Sorry to say that, but my friends from Brussels are not here, so I can sell what I want. So you see a lot of plastics. This plastics flies with the wind and goes everywhere. And then it smells really bad also because of the plastic. So the neighbors hate it. And everybody who takes the road next to it hates it too. But this is, I will go back to that, but you can do much better and very easily. And it will bring you more if you do it better. So this way we still manage to compost 30,000 tons of garden waste. And we sell it very cheap, so it doesn't bring much. Then the Regional Circular Economy Program. It's a tool to stimulate economic activity and job creation around environmental activities. And for example, there was a call for project. We got 100 candidates and a few projects around the organic waste. There is two I'd like to mention. One is a semi-industrial synergy to valorize organic waste. So organic waste from a brewery, which we have loads in Brussels, are used as a substrate to grow mushrooms. And these mushrooms are sold on the markets, in the organic markets. And then the compost from the substrates of the mushrooms is composted by a farm, which will then produce vegetables that are sold in Brussels again. And then another one is a closed loop with reverse logistic. So vegetable producers are taking the waste from their customers back. Customers are restaurants, but also citizens. They take the green waste back and they compost it themselves to grow again their new vegetables. So it's a real closed loop this time. Then we have this phosphor project. Well, there is no bracket this time. It's a good one. It's a good project, this one. So we want to go toward a sustainable system for organic waste in Brussels. As I said, most of our waste is not managed, most of our organic waste. So we can do better, but how? So here, it's a university-led project, but we're working with local authorities, me, for example, NGOs like SCR+, worms, and citizens. And so we will work together to think together for a new system, because it's needed. We are nowhere so far, almost. So we really want to think, oh, this type of producer is producing this type of waste, which could be dealt this way here in Brussels. I mean, the geographical areas too, and then the compost could be used there, and so on. We're starting in February, so sorry I don't have any results yet, but follow us, you will know more. We will not only think, we will experiment. So we have living labs of different scales where we are gonna try our ideas, and we will try them for 2 years at least, and make conclusions out of it. And once we've thought and tried things, we can really go further and make it happen all over Brussels. So I really look forward to that one, as you can see. Now, about what we're doing in Brussels. So the land, you all know about the Lansing scale. Let's apply it to organic waste. So in Brussels today, we are preventing a lot of food waste. Part of it is this 16,000 tons that we are saving. Reuse of organic waste, I don't know any, so I don't think there is any application. Recycling, so here I've put centralized composting, so far only 30,000 tons. Then we have the other one, the door-to-door collection of kitchen waste, but we don't have figures yet and it's still very small. And then energy recovery, again, brackets, for 160,000 tons a year. And then luckily, Brussels is too small and we don't landfill, but most of Belgium doesn't landfill anymore, at least not organic waste and municipal waste in general. So what's the real picture in Brussels? It's this. We're preventing a lot, okay. We're recycling some, good. But then this energy recovery, is huge. It's most of our waste. I didn't do the percentage, but it's more than 90% of it. And it's very expensive, as I told you, 30 million euros a year just for the organic waste. And that's if you count the cost, but then this is water. So if we didn't have to burn that, the incineration plants would be more efficient. So very expensive, don't do that. But the recycling that we do is cheaper, it's technically simple. It should produce a quality compost if you avoid contaminants. And well, I will talk about that in the next slide. So what could Turkey do? You could avoid our mistakes first and go green. So first, don't try to build an incinerator for organic waste. It's complete nonsense. You still have landfill, so try to avoid it for organic waste. As everybody said today, it starts with separate collection, and then you can recycle. So it would be much cheaper, as I said, technically simple, and try to think producing a quality compost. Don't think, waste management. No, this doesn't work. Then you have plastics and smell and everything. Get your farmers to do it. They know it well. And ask universities to help you too. And start with voluntary schemes. Don't try to oblige everyone to do it, because then you will have plastics and everything. Start small, show people how it works. Share the compost after you've made it. Show to citizens what they did and how they can benefit from it. And after a while, you can go bigger. And also, kitchen waste is more complicated. Why not starting with green waste, garden waste, I mean. And prevent. Preventing is the most, it's the highest scale in the hierarchy, but also it's the cheapest thing to do, actually, if you do it right. Of course, teach people to avoid to waste their food and reduce the organic waste, and promote collective and individual composting. As I showed you, it's small, it's local, no transport, not much cost for the municipality. People get involved, and it's also the entry door for other environmental issues. Once you've convinced them to think about organic waste, they will think about, oh, I also want to sort my plastics. I want to use my car less. I want to consume local things. It's a really good entry door. Yeah, so I will just end up by, this is an English, British campaign against food waste. It's called Love Food, Hate Waste. I really recommend you to Google that. It's very interesting. It's very funny, and it worked really well in England. Yeah, I will just end up by saying that avoid our mistakes and go green. And here are my details if you want to contact me. Thank you.